Now, in our remaining few minutes, I'd like to turn to Jim and then Jackie and then with me. Jim, if there's, hey, if you're going to leave this place and only remember one or two things, what would those things be?
Document your performance issues in real time when they happen. Don't make up stuff after the fact. When you're negotiating separation agreements with me, understand that it's in both parties' interests to make a clean separation, leave out the ambiguity, account for as many contingencies as you can.
Great takeaways. What about you, Jackie? Did they remember only one thing? What is it going to be?
So one thing is take a look at those drafts, FMLA regulations, see how they impact your business, see what concerns you. Either way, try to get yourself to one of the listening events. And again, the schedule of events, the schedule has been passed out to you. And really participate in the process. It's gonna impact your business and the business of your clients. I will also say, this is two, make sure you take a check on the status of your harassment training, your harassment policy. If you haven't done it in a while, sort of what needs to be included has changed, and you want to do training with some regularity.
Jackie had mentioned this notion of bystander training. This is the new hot thing. If you Google it, and EEOC is excited about it. So a scenario is you're a rank and file employee, you're not a supervisor, and manager comes over to your fellow worker and says something like, oh, can you refresh my drink, please? Mistaking the person of color for a waiter. What are you going to do? Are you going to stand there and say nothing? Or are you going to say to the manager, that's rude, how dare you say such a thing? It's hard for employees to decide in the moment what to do, and that's what bystander training is about. Culture comes down from the top but up from the bottom, and there are things that individuals can do without threatening themselves to diffuse the situation. And the bystander hypotheticals where you actually do one of these things and then you open it up to, well, what are you going to do?
Right. What
are your options? And it doesn't necessarily have to mean making a big scene. Sometimes it's just a matter of, oh, I'd like you to meet. You obviously haven't met my colleague, and he's done X and he's done Y. Or for a female who's being harassed, this is not your fault. Let's go talk to HR together. These are all things that you can do. And my big takeaway on equal pay is like those Nike ads. Just do it. It's really, you're going to be glad that you did it. Just dump all those things in the spreadsheet. Take a look. Pick it off the low-hanging fruit. Whittle away at it. Once a month, have the team get together. Look at a few more positions. And you will be so happy, and your lawyers will be so happy because you'll be able to take advantage of that defense. And my final takeaway is that you're going to be receiving, I think electronically, I don't think it's in the materials, an evaluation form. This particular seminar is one that we have done every year for many years running because the laws keep changing, and also because, like I said, I'm not taking anybody public, but you guys are all doing employment law. We want to make it easy. We want to make it user-friendly. So any ideas you have for what we did well, what we could do better, and topics that you'd like to see covered or things you'd like us to go into in a little more depth, we'll make sure to implement those. So, and what would Max's takeaway be? Because he had to leave, and I forgot to ask him what his takeaway was, which is you need to look at your non-compete agreements. And I think, there was a person who asked this question about whether you pay at the beginning of the relationship or at the end of the relationship. I'm just going to say that you have to make some of these practical decisions for yourself. I just did one, and Max is my partner, and I think the world of him, and I'm making the payment at the end of the relationship. And I've concluded that in this instance, that is the way to go. So there is, in the materials, Max has got some other really good stuff in the materials. He's got this great checklist for a departing employee. You're about to leave your company. What are some things you don't want to do? Or a checklist that says your employee's about to leave, the letter that you write to them. Well, we just got your resignation, and don't forget, you're subject to this agreement, and don't forget, you're not supposed to download anything. So it's very practical. And Max's materials also include a checklist of provisions to include in a non-compete agreement. So we're out of time. We'll stick around, us at the panel here, for individual questions, and we thank you all for coming.
Thank you.